Okay, welcome back to Kingston Reviews. Derek here. Thank you guys for tuning into another video. We're going to do something a little different today. We're going to talk to you guys about our facility service company. We primarily provide janitorial, landscaping, pest control, any facility services that you might need for your company. That's what our company does. And I've got my partner in crime with me, my son Noah Herbert, and we thought we would share some stories with you guys about our most valuable commodity, which is our employees. They are the most important thing to us. However, they bring us a lot of problems, a lot of crazy stories that we thought we would share with you guys. If you guys like content like this, please don't forget to like. Get in the comments below. Let us know what you think. If you've had similar stories, we want to hear about them. But I thought we would start off by talking to my son a little bit, and he can tell you a little bit about what he does with the company. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Noah.
So, as you said, I'm Noah. I'm kind of the partner in crime for the business. I usually handle most of our daytime activities, including nighttime stuff. But most of the time, I'm the one at the facility handling any issues that arise, supplies, employee management, as you mentioned. Basically, our face out there actually on location. And as he mentioned, like he said, the most valuable resource to us is our employees. And with that, we get a lot of phenomenal people. We wouldn't be able to run our business without some phenomenal employees that we have. But also with that, we go through a lot of not so phenomenal people as well.
Yes, that's what we're gonna call them from now on. Not so phenomenal people. We won't use. We'll try to stay away from the derogatory terms, but we
Yeah.
do have hella stories to kind of share with you guys, and I just think it's really interesting. Especially we hear every day in the media, we hear stories about people looking for work. I first wanted to say that I understand the business that we're in, being a janitorial service business. Sometimes we don't always get the best employees seeking employment, right? You can speak to this, know that we don't always get the cream of the crop. Not everybody, the way I put it, not everybody wants to be in the janitorial business, landscaping, anything that's general labor. Typically, we just don't get the best applicants. Once again, we do have some great people with us, but in general, a lot of times we have to go through so many people to get to those one or two good ones. Do you agree with me there?
Yeah. 100% agree. I would say the typical number is probably 30 people before we find one good one
Yeah.
that will actually stay with us for longer than a 30-day period. If we wanted to put like a little bit of numbers to it, that's probably what I'd say we're about. And that's also, like you said, for part of the job itself. Like you said, not everybody gets up and goes, "Oh, I want to be a janitor, or clean, or do pest control or mow a lawn." Like not everybody's getting up and wanting to do that kind of stuff. Most of the time, they'd rather do something that's a little bit more convenient to them. And to be honest, in our business, it is a job that a lot of people do put some prejudice on, look down on.
Yeah.
And I think that also has to do with why a lot of people in this industry and the people that we have to deal with aren't necessarily, like we said, as phenomenal as some others.
Right. I think I want to start off by number one saying that most of the applicants we get uh, don't even have like experience necessary, and they don't need experience. Probably the biggest attribute that we need from an employee is conscientiousness. I tell this to people all the time.
Yeah.
And people look at me like I'm crazy. Why should I be conscientious on any job if they don't pay me enough or they have all these different excuses? But I think conscientiousness is probably the biggest indicator for success. People that are really conscientious about what they do for a company, for themselves, for their own business, are typically going to be successful in life and are probably not applying to my job in 9 out of 10 situations.
Yeah.
But I thought we'd share a few stories. So, one of the first stories we have to share with you, we're going to talk about a guy. We're going to call him Steve. That's not his name. But we're going to call him Steve for today's purposes. Steve was a young guy that we hired. I can't remember how long we've had him, no, but he was with us at
Uh,
least
I
three or
would
4 months, right?
I would say it was a good three and a half months with us,
Yeah.
right? Younger gentleman, as he said,
Hmm.
uh, and Steve started off very good. came from a lower paying job than what we were starting. We
Yeah.
for our business, janitorial services, typical rate is about $12 an hour. We start a little higher than that. I won't say the exact amount, but we feel pretty safe with what we pay our people. And he came in, loved the new rate he was getting, started off very strong. But yeah, Steve had some problems later on after a little bit.
So yeah, Steve, when he first started out, they people get to know us, and then they figure out real quick. Usually, we can figure out within 24 to 30 to 48 hours if someone's going to work out as an employee. I feel that we're fair, but I think that we're fairly tough on employees, because if they're not
Mhm.
doing what they need to do in that first day, we're going to go ahead and separate. And I know you didn't want to touch base on exactly what we pay, but I feel really proud about this. I feel confident that we can say we pay well above the norm. I would say the average is over $15 an hour is what we pay our employees. We don't have a lot of people much below that. And I'm not saying that we're going to continue to do that forever, but I feel like we pay well above the average. I can pull up some rates to show you guys, but we do pay above the
Of
average.
similar companies.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Steve came to us. He might have been working for Amazon. He might have been working for some other company, but they laid him off or cut back on his hours. And a lot of times, just because you might make 15, 16, $17 an hour, some companies won't give you the hours. They might only give you
Yeah,
like 25, 30 hours. You're very
if
familiar with
that.
this, Noah. You've worked for other companies, and they limit your hours when the peak season is down, and that's not what we do. So
Mhm.
Steve was doing really good, but I got a call from our site contact maybe 3 months in after he's been there for a little while, and I'm going to tell you the first story. First, he told me like, "Hey, I don't want to scare you, but I heard this story that I think your guy Steve might have taken someone's Uber Eats." Right. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, well, someone ordered Uber Eats to the site, and that he might have taken the Uber Eats from that employee, acting as if it was his. And so I said, what happened? He said, well, I went and talked to Steve. And when I talked to Steve, he said that it was his Uber Eats, not somebody else's. And he might have gotten the meals confused. And so that was really odd.
Yeah,
I think it's really odd that you would pick up a Uber Eats and know that it's not something that you ordered, and not immediately
and
give it
still eat
back.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Like
weird.
you would know if it's not your food or not.
Right.
But at the time, um, one thing we also take pride in is as employers, and as actual business owners and stuff, when it goes to like forming relationships with our clients, we kind of pick and choose who we work with. So when we work with a client, we make sure it's somebody that we can have good relations with. So in this instance, we have a very strong relation with the actual building management.
Hmm.
So we're a separate company, but we have very strong relation with them, and we're able to talk with them and get a sense of like what's going on with this
Right.
guy. And that doesn't mean we're not going to take our employee's side, but when they come to us and tell us this, even if like he's been with us 3 or 4 months, it kind of raises some eyebrows,
Right.
right? Because people in this business, we've learned people will put on a face for a little bit
Oh yeah.
just to make a little bit of money. But at the time, I didn't really think anything of it because I thought young kid. And it's not an easy shift. The shift requires you to be there full time. It
Yep.
starts at 6:30 in the morning, and he'd been there every day,
He's been very
on
consistent.
time, very consistent,
Yeah.
texting, messaging. But I gotta say that did like that put us on to him a little bit. And I think after that day, we started watching him a little bit more.
Yep.
And then soon after that, you ended up getting another call from
Yep.
their site
So I
manager,
got
if you want to
another
talk about
call from my site contact. He's the head of facilities management for that company. And he says to me, he says, Derek, can you tell me if I give you an address if it belongs to an employee? And so this is a strange question, right? And technically we really don't share our employees' information, but I could confirm it, right? And so he gave me the address, and then I proceeded to confirm, like, yes, that's an employee that works for me. And he's like, well, I got to tell you something. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Did he do the Uber Eats thing again? How is this address connected? Long story short, the guy has done his research. Apparently, Steve decided it was a great idea to pick up a phone that was put down in the bathroom, and took it home. And when he took it home, of course, this is the company's phone. It belonged to the company that we service. And they, of course, they tracked the phone. By the way, I don't know how stupid you could be. Stealing a phone has got to be the dumbest thing that you can do today. Almost
In
every
the
single
modern
phone,
age,
yeah,
it's
every single phone is trackable in some way or the other. Most of them are really difficult to break into, and they're cheap. Like you can get a phone for like $99. So the kind of individual that takes a phone is just this kind of crazy to me. So long story
and I
short,
do want
yeah,
to also mention on that, just something a little funny. As talking to the people on site after, um, later on, after our investigation into it, uh, he didn't go as far as to turn the phone off when he got it. In fact, they blew up the phone. 'Cause modern day, they're able to message the phone through their tracking software. So
right,
they're messaging the phone like, "Can you give the phone back? Hey, where's the phone? Please give
right,
us a call if you locate this phone." And he didn't turn it off until
and it's
getting
pinging.
to his location.
And of
To
course it's
until getting to
pinging,
his
right? You know,
location.
it's an
Yeah,
iPhone and they can ping the phone, right? So he clearly knows this. And instead of returning the phone, which he might have been able to get away with, he decides to just turn it off. Like he actually turned the phone off completely to try to avoid it being tracked.
he tried a
So
force restart.
yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately for him, they actually tracked him on camera. They're probably 100 cameras plus at this site. And of course, they've got him tracked to the car. Of course, they've got GPS, so they tracked the phone to his car, to his home address. And of course, I call him up and I said, "Hey, Steve, do you have the phone?" Before you start lying to me and telling me you don't have it, they've already tracked it to your house. I'm trying to help you not get arrested because the police were about to be called. Like we're seconds away. At this particular point, a lot of people, I got to tell you, like companies don't really care about that, right? They've got
Okay.
insurance plans for the phones. They have, this is a multi-million dollar company, probably $1 billion company that we're working for. And they have plenty of money to go ahead and get new phones. So charging you with theft and ruining your life, they don't care one way or the other. You're going to go to
Yeah. In
court.
fact,
They could care less, right?
yeah. In fact, the phone wasn't even the thing they were most worried about. It
Right.
was
It's the propriety information
it's their
on the
yeah, it's their
phone.
property.
Right. It's
Yeah.
their property and it's also got their propriety information on the phone. This would belong to I think one of their engineers or something. And so and it's a brand new phone. So how he thought no one was
Yeah.
going to notice this, I really don't understand. But once again, these are the type of
Uh,
individuals that we run into sometimes in our business. It's just part of what we do. We have to weed through the people. We do background check. We do try to weed through the bad ones, but every now and again we have a few that slip through. Long story
mm,
short, I was able to get the phone back and I was able to get it back to our customer. But this is also a bad look on us. It's a bad look for everyone involved. Thankfully, once again, as Noah said earlier, we have a fantastic relationship. We're a
yeah.
relationship based company. We, of course, provide fantastic service. But, if anything I could share with anyone looking to start a business, focus on your relationship with your customers, right? Because
A
something
hundred
like this, if
percent.
I was just price sensitive, only worried about getting the cheapest bids and getting as many contracts as I can and not focused on a relationship, we're at this site every single day, either Noah or myself. If we don't build those relationships, something like this could have ruined a multi six figure
Very easily.
contract very,
I
very
mean,
easily.
we've had six-figure contracts in the past where we a very good contract, no complaints from the customer, or very light, right? We're there every day, like, but we didn't have this relationship. And then a very similar situation. You remember years ago,
Right.
at this place, the gentleman stole one of the customer's invoices,
Yep.
right? Yeah, it's a I and in that situation, granted, um, not necessary. I mean, granted, it's a very bad look, but if we had a better relation with that customer at the time, it could have been salvageable like this. So I think that's a great point that you mentioned. And one of the things I've learned while being in this, especially at my age, is that your relationship with people is far more important than whatever money or anything you're earning from that
Mm-hmm.
relationship, right? Like your actual, like, being able to talk and communicate with that person is so
Right,
much more
right.
important.
Right back to what I said at the beginning of our conversation. Probably the most important thing that brings value to us as an employee is conscientiousness. The fact that someone is conscientious enough not to take a phone, to tell us when they need help, or to make sure that they're doing the job as to the best of their ability. Having a conscientious employee is probably the best thing. I'm going to end off the story with the fact that I got a notification from one of our female employees that used to work with this guy, right? And soon after we had actually let her go, she texted me this like a week after we let him go, saying that he propositioned her. And I'm going to read you the text. I'll show it here in the corner. But
Put it
this is
on
the
the
text
screen.
that he sent her. He said, oh, wait, I can't even read this guy's thing. He says, I'm sorry. I just feel bad you lost your phone. And on top of that, I know you're in need of some fast money. So if you're up for it, let me know. Will be the fastest $100 you earn. LOL. So if you're not sure what he's offering there, he's offering to give her $100 for a quickie. I guess we'll just call it a quickie. But now I'm reading that
It's
text,
the most
Noah.
civil
I
term.
just realized like she's saying that she lost her phone. Yeah, hopefully he didn't take her phone.
Hey man, he might have
he,
stolen that one
he
too.
might have stole that one
He
too.
really
He
might
might
have,
have stole that one
right?
too.
And
Hundred
that just
percent.
goes to show you, right? To also once we caught this guy, right, the whole facade that he was putting up began to fall apart, right? Whenever we caught him with the phone, they always like to give a little excuse, right? I
Yeah.
think it's apt to mention what he said, where he's caught with a phone, it's not his, right? And his response to us was, "They can't even say I stole it." Mind you, he's at his house. He's at his house with their phone, um,
His
and
perception was that we
yeah,
couldn't say he stole it because he physically didn't take it off the person. Now, this is a crazy mindset, and you logical people out there might be thinking the same thing we are. Like, what the hell are you talking about? But you got to understand some of the individuals that are not phenomenal, the non-phenomenal employees that we're talking about. People like him don't have any understanding of reality, and just because you picked it up off the bathroom floor when it fell out someone's pocket, yes, you're a thief. Okay, you're
yeah, it's
100% a
not
thief.
yours.
He's a thief.
You didn't
He
turn it in.
stole it, and yes, he would have gone to jail. It's over $600, I think, in North Carolina as a felony, and they would 100% prosecute it, and they would have won. He would have deserved it 100%, even though he thought he didn't steal it because he didn't physically take it off of him. I don't know, but if you guys like stories like this, my son and I thought we would share with you guys more of this stuff. We're also going to share some of the business side of things, as far as how we've grown our business. We took this business from $225 a month that we had in contracts a couple years ago to a decent size. We won't say exactly how much, but we're definitely well past the six figures, and we're heading into the seven-figure range very soon. And we want to share with you guys how we were able to do that, the structures that we used to set that up. We expanded our business to not just include janitorial, but the other parts of the business like the landscaping, the pest control, pond retention, pond
Full
maintenance,
stop. Facility
consumables,
management.
toilet paper, paper towels, that kind of stuff. And those are the things that really move the bottom line. If you guys like this content, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you guys are thinking. Noah, you have anything else to add?
No, I would love to hear some stories if anybody has anything similar. I'm sure we're not the only one that has to go through the struggle of finding the really good people. And I think one thing me and my dad came to realize with this is most of the really good people already have a job. So most of the time you're stuck with the people that, like we said, might not be so phenomenal. But I think that this was a good time talking about it. And if you guys want to see any more, let us know. We got tons of stories like this that we want to talk about, and
Absolutely.
plenty of other things that we've learned that we want to share.
Absolutely. All right, Noah. We'll see you later.
All right, we'll
All right.
see you guys
See you
later.
guys.